Okay, so now let's talk about homework and practices. Homework, no! All right, it's not as bad as you think. So the first thing you want to begin to become acquainted with is a practice called relaxation breathing. There's a separate video that you can watch that will show you how to do this practice, okay? And it's explained at length in the study guide. The next thing, if you don't have one already, go ahead and purchase a highlighter and a journal. If you get a highlighter, you can begin to read and make your own the information that speaks most deeply to you. By the journal, and then begin keeping your virtues book. Okay? Right away, don't let a lot of time pass. Next, there's a 0 to 10 scale in your study guide. There are going to be 3 numbers I want you to fill out. In the last month, 0 to 10, I want you to rate the distress that you felt in your life. 0 is no distress. 10 is complete inability to cope or function. I want you to rate over the last month how you felt at your best. Average. Now, average doesn't mean in between best and worst, just where you're mostly at, and then the worst. So you're going to have 3 numbers. What I want to do is we're going to measure this again at a time in the middle of the class and at the end of the class. And if you've been doing your practices, you should have some raw data on how the practices are doing for you. And I guarantee you, your numbers will improve. Okay? Now, if you don't do the practices, don't expect a lot of change in the numbers. There are additional bits of information. One on what's called compassionate communication. This is vitally important if you want to bring more goodness into your relationships at home and closeness, skill into the relationships that you have with your friends and at work. Teaches you how to speak about difficult topics in a way that doesn't set the other person off. And also teaches you how to receive difficult information. Okay? It's called compassionate communication. This is the work of Marshall Rosenberg. There are books on this topic if you're interested. I've given some endnotes in the study guides. So if you want to go farther with that, I encourage you to do so. There's also a PDF on the obstacles to recovery. Things that are going to get in our way. Defense mechanisms, patterns of being, how we show up with others. Read through that stuff and see if you can open up to ways, patterns that you might recognize in yourself, and begin to see if you can have some compassion for why those patterns are there, and yet some strength and courage to begin to work with those patterns and move beyond them. All right, so that is there. Breath counting is the meditation that we're going to practice until we get together next time. It's a very simple but powerful practice. What it's going to enable you to do is begin to work with your attention. That part of you that orients. It's critical. You can say, I want to orient towards more beauty, truth, and goodness. You can say that. You can want that to be so. But if you can't hold your attention on anything for any length of time, it's going to be impossible. Does that make any sense to you guys? For sure. So breath counting is a practice for a reason. It's going to help strengthen your capacity to hold your attention even while your mind wants to run away. Okay, so read more about that And if there are questions, ask me on the forum, okay? There's going to be a guided meditation where I will lead. You can just listen to that if you like, okay? And lastly, the prospective memory practice that I taught you earlier, start tonight. Put your wedding ring on the opposite finger, watch on the opposite wrist, whatever you need to do to remind yourself, because the hardest thing is going to be remembering as soon as you lie down. Maybe set an intention to put something out of place. The laundry detergent on the kitchen floor, or something that will remind you when you go to bed, oh yeah. And so you'll do your practice. Sow the seeds for remembering what's going to happen when you, at the end of your day when you're tired. Okay, so that's Module 1. Thank you so much for joining us. I cannot wait to hear on the online forum how you're doing with these practices. Stay engaged, stay curious and eager, be calm and patient, diligent and joyful, and I will see you next time.